The Flips4Miles story. Mr. Miles, how you doing?
Good. Excited to chop it up. We haven't been on air in like a year.
No,
together.
it hasn't been a year. Well, is this going on Buy Box Bandits?
No.
Okay, sweet. Where's it going? Your YouTube?
Yes.
All right, sweet. The Flips4Miles story. Let's just take it back to the beginning. And if you don't know, Daniel, Wi-Fi Astronaut, at Wi-Fi Astronaut on Twitter.
Two
Hit the
Ts.
follow.
Yep,
Yeah, two
two
T's at the
Ts.
end. It'll pop up, though. If you just do Wi-Fi and an A, it'll pop up. We got that algorithmic ranking now. So we're good. All right, Miles. Flips4Miles. Where did it start? Where did the name come from?
Yeah. So the name, I was doing exactly what you shouldn't do. I was procrastinating starting my page. I'd been flipping shoes for a while. We're going to go through all that basically, but I was procrastinating starting my sneaker flipping Instagram page because I wasn't sure what to name it. And then I was in Europe for Christmas break in 2019, like late 2018, early 2019. That was right when I just started to figure out reselling. I'd made like $5,000 profit. I was reading Rich Dad Poor Dad and everything. I was like pretty sure we was going to be able to do this full time now, but I wasn't starting my page. And then it just came to me when I was like Flips4Miles. I was like, okay, that's what it will do. And then I made the page and then I started posting like 3 weeks later, basically on it. But it's crazy because I was the guy originally that didn't have a page when everyone else had a page. And now 5 years later, I'm the only one with a page and no one else has a page basically.
Okay, so you were selling sneakers?
Yeah, so I was selling sneakers.
How did you find out about a lot? Well, I get a lot of people start off. So I sold sneakers in the past. I know a lot of people have. So how did you find out about selling sneakers?
Yeah, so we should go all the way back to start from that bit during the Lego arc.
Okay.
Basically. So as a kid, I always liked Lego stuff. I was never really into video games. Basically, like a lot of people are into video games. I know you had a professional COD season there for a little bit, right? So yeah, I was really into Legos like ever since the beginning. I always really liked putting them together, getting them for Christmas, etc. That was always like my favorite toy, basically. And then in really late 2010, basically, I got this cool set for Christmas, which is called the Slave One. For any of my Star Wars fans, you know what I'm talking about, basically. And I just couldn't put it together, dude. I don't know why. I was getting frustrated, and it was like early internet. Like I don't even think I knew what YouTube was, but I knew.
So this is 2010.
This is late 2010.
You couldn't put the Lego set together?
Well, yeah, I don't know, dude. I think it was like a little complicated.
Did you have
or whatever.
the instructions?
Yes. So it's really ironic, but yeah. And then so I went on Google and I typed it in, and I found this kid who was making YouTube videos. I was like, oh my gosh, you can make YouTube videos? I was like, all right, like I'll start doing that basically. And like legit that night, I'm pretty sure I posted my first video, just straight taking action, not worrying about it.
And the Lego community is like, it's kind of cult-like, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it very like tight-knit? And there was like forums and stuff for reselling Legos.
Well, it's really similar to like Money Twitter and like the Amazon community online. Yeah. It's like niche interests that like you don't super talk about around your friends basically. So that night I started making YouTube videos, and then like was introduced to this whole community of people that were like online communities basically. And it's crazy because a lot of the stuff I talk about today, it's like find your tribe online, stuff like that. It's exactly what I was doing back in the day. So I stopped doing YouTube because there's two sides of the Lego community. There's Flickr and there's YouTube. And the YouTube guys don't really love the Flickr guys.
Flickr's like Vimeo, right?
It used to be a thing. Yeah, Yahoo bought it and they fucked it up. Okay. Basically, it's not good anymore, but it was. All my content's still up there, actually. If anyone wants to look up the White Beret, it's on there. Basically, you can look at all that stuff from like 10 years,
the
basically.
White Beret?
Yeah, I copied this dude's name back there. Yeah, I completely copied his name. And he blocked me, too. He blocked me, and then I copied his name for some reason. This is like early 2011. Basically.
So you're like 12 years old at this time.
Yeah, 12, 13. Yeah. And then what's cool about Legos is there's like these big conventions basically. So I went to the convention for the first time in 2012 and I started like meeting people online. It was crazy, man. It's like talking about meeting your heroes, like seeing all these dudes you've been watching on YouTube, like walking around in real life was crazy. And so I started making friends with people. And then the next couple of years we would do what's called collaborations, where we would work on stuff the whole year. We would Skype all the time together. It's crazy, like how profitable it is to Zoom with Amazon sellers. It's like so fun to Zoom with Skype back in the day with Lego people, basically.
Wait, so what are collaborations? These are like the big projects,
huge,
right?
like the size of this room, basically, and like everyone makes like a different part of it, basically.
So how did you get into doing the collaborations?
Yeah, so it's been a thing for a while. Like my friend group still does one typically. Actually, it's like it's the 10-year anniversary of a really big one this year that I wasn't a part of, but like everyone that's still around still works on it, Basically, it's the 10-year end. It's still the best thing that's ever made, I think, in my opinion. Basically, but yeah, you just kind of like meet your homies, so similar to Amazon and online business, and you just like work together on stuff. Basically, I think that's when like humans are most happy too, is when you're working on stuff that you feel and find important. Basically, so I did that till 2018 actually, but in 2014, one of my homies was wearing Bread Ones. It was right after Kanye wore them, which made the value go crazy, basically. And I was like, dude, how are you affording shoes that are that expensive, basically? And he's like, oh, I've been flipping them, right? And now this whole time, the past 3 years, I always liked trading Legos with people and negotiating, like feeling like I got a good deal on something, flipping stuff and everything at a really small scale, but enough where I was probably in like unrealized value making like $1,000 a month. Like I was probably putting up like huge hedge fund type returns on a small amount of capital. And there's like crazy backdoors with Lego stuff back in the day too. Like it was all it's so similar to Amazon basically. And then he shows me how to do it and then immediately sells me fake Concord 11s and fake Air Maxes, and I'm at bang, $500 is gone like that.
Damn, he sold you fake shoes?
Yeah.
This is someone at...
he ended up going to jail. Yeah,
someone
actually.
from...
the Lego world. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was weird. I like still kind of talk to him. I do every once in a while. Like once a year or something, I'll like get re-added to their group chat or whatever. But he obviously did not end up doing anything important. No wonder. Basically, but he added me to all these Facebook groups, and then I just started like passively doing it here and there because I didn't have a ton of money. But the big thing is where you come into play is that at the end of the year at school, people would get rid of stuff.
Yeah, wait, hold on that.
Okay, all right.
That's a whole nother thing.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about that all day.
That needs to be explained. That's a lead up to it because it's not going to make any sense.
Okay.
So you had this Lego set.
Yep.
You couldn't put it together. And then you see it online and you see these forums. Was the Lego set being sold for more money?
No, it was just dudes making reviews about it, like hitting SEO targeting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so these guys that had these big channels, actually a lot of them are still doing it today, which is like really cool that they were able to do it. And a few of my friends from back in the day that weren't big back in the day ended up being huge now and like probably making like 6 figures with it, which is so cool, basically. But no, it was like the big guys would make reviews and then they would like paint custom like figurines basically. Okay. And then me and my homies would make builds like that are big and stuff. And that takes like that's like the really hard part of it, I would say.
So how long did that period in your life last, the Lego?
Yeah, so I went really hard in the paint from 2011 till 2014, and then from 2014 to 2018, I would only do it during the summer.
Okay.
Basically.
So what were you doing when you weren't doing Legos?
Just basketball, honestly.
Okay.
I never really played video games and stuff. And then from 2014 to 2018, because I was in high school, so it was a lot of like basketball. I played 3 sports: soccer, basketball, lacrosse. That took a ton of time. And
were
then
you nice at any of them?
I'm okay at soccer, and then I'm better at lacrosse than I am at basketball, but I like basketball better.
Do you think you could give any of the viewers a bucket?
A lot of them, yes. And a lot of them don't think that's the case, but they know, and you know. and some of you guys know.
Okay, so all right, so you're playing basketball like what, freshman year of high school. When did the introduction to making money online or reselling, when was like the first like glimpse of it? When did that first glimpse happen?
Yeah, so that was in April of 2014. I did the first deal. I remember I walked up to the Dunkin' Donuts in our hometown and like met up with this really sketchy dude that was like 25 from a Facebook forum. And I think I traded him, but I remember I made some money on it basically. But that was like really interesting. I made my boy walk with me. Yeah, shoes. And then so I did that from 2014 to 2016, 2017, really, really part-time. And then I started to get more serious about it in 2018 when it went from flipping stuff on Facebook Marketplace to selling stuff on StockX and Goat, which are platforms where you don't negotiate with people. Yeah. So it's a lot more leverage because you just put up a price and when someone buys it, they buy it, basically. So that was a good thing. And then I got a lot more serious about it in 2017. That's when we started popping off, and I met you in high school, basically. A lot of you guys don't know that Wi-Fi and I actually went to high school together.
We'll get to that. So you go to Dunkin' Donuts, take your boy with you. And for those of you who don't know, this is like small town USA. Like this is like typical small town. Yeah. It's not like 10 people, but there's like, what's the population of
I have
of
no
that town?
clue.
Maybe 10,000?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So in Pennsylvania, it's up to 6A in public schools, and like our town's a 3A, I think.
It's a small town.
Yeah.
It's a very small town. So I could only imagine what your parents, I can imagine what your father was thinking or what he said. When you told your mom or dad, hey, I'm going to resell these shoes to someone, what was their knee-jerk reaction?
Dude,
to
I
that?
just wouldn't tell them, basically.
Well,
I
did
would,
they ever find out?
I mean, eventually, but like not that I was meeting people. It was mostly just shipping stuff. And I would even like hide it I would hide a lot of the stuff under the bed so no one saw it, basically. Because I was like worried about stuff. Because like the whole time, like my whole life, I think the microcosm of anything that's gone right has been going against conventional wisdom, like, and not worrying about, like, for example, all the Lego stuff was private the whole time. No one knew in high school, really. I was really embarrassed by it, basically. And then like the reselling stuff, I didn't really I know some people knew, but it wasn't like a super public thing. And I was really worried about it, basically. And then all the shoe stuff was like moderately private, basically. And like in college, I wouldn't talk about it a ton. And now like it's like still moderately, I would say, but I'm a lot more public about it because it's like the vehicle's way higher now. Yeah, yeah.
That's funny. So okay, so high school you're going through high school, so you're just reselling shoes all through high school, pretty
Like,
much.
yeah, you know, one pair a
As
week,
a
2
lot,
pairs a week.
it seems like as a lot of people do, but
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
usually it will, that kind of drive or passion will kind of fizzle out.
Well, they make
for
money for the
people.
wrong ways. Like
Yeah.
there were so many guys. I remember it was legitimately insane seeing some of these guys take a picture with 20 pairs of Yeezys and stuff, which is like probably only like $2,000 of profit or something. Back then, it's way less now, the profit per unit.
Yeah.
But I used to think that was so crazy. And now a lot of those people don't do it anymore because they made money for the wrong reason. They bought like a BMW immediately. Like there's so many kids I know on Instagram back in the day that like
Yeah, they
now,
bought the 328i right away.
and they like hit
then
me
that's
up
it.
asking me how to do Amazon stuff, and like they just never end up going through with it, basically, unfortunately.
Okay, so talk a little bit about high school, because I think we've spoke about it before, but it's not normal.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's super normal to me, basically. So
And me too, but
yeah,
99% of people is not normal.
yeah. So we went to what's called a boarding school, basically, and so look that up if you're unfamiliar, basically. But it's where people live on campus.
Yeah.
So there's kids from all over the world, basically, right? So a lot of students from like China and stuff like that, basically. So I was a day student at that school, so I lived right off campus, and you were a boarder there, and we overlapped. My senior year was your junior year, basically, and there's only really 2 conversations I remember, right? There's the one of you talking about Bitcoin, which we should have bought, or you should have held from there, and then the other one was talking about the donation boxes at the end of the year, basically, which were always a good time.
Yeah, so just real quick, anyone who doesn't think I was not into crypto, 2016, 2017, verifiable
Yep.
source.
So that
absolutely
might even,
was.
so that was probably December or like December 2016, March 2017.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so yeah, pretty much boarding school. I lived there. You were a day student.
Yep.
I
But
would say it was
for
about
all-
half
all-
and half.
Yeah, all intensive purposes lived
Yeah.
on campus, basically.
Yeah, it was essentially college with adult supervision.
and more rules. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool though.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Completely. Yeah. And we don't have anything. Well, you have stuff to compare it to. I don't have stuff to compare it to, but yeah.
Honestly, it was absolutely better than public school.
Okay.
Like
Interesting.
by far.
Good.
Not
good.
even close. Public school was a joke. Huge joke. Colts Neck High School, you suck. Horrible. Anyway, yeah. So boarding school, there's this thing called donation boxes at the end of the
Yeah.
year. Miles, what is a donation box?
Yeah, so
Or
this
what
is-
what's the purpose of a
Yeah.
donation
So
box?
basically, just at the end of the year, because you live on campus, people get rid of stuff they don't want, basically. And so it's amazing, basically. They're just these boxes in the dorms, and people just get rid of stuff they don't want. And like a lot of us you're allowed to, you're encouraged to take stuff, basically. So I would like get inventory for free. That was what kept me going in the early days, man.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Like, so pretty much another way to explain it, what it was, there was a lot of international students, and it tended that most of the international students were extremely wealthy.
Yeah.
Like the levels that we didn't really understand yet, like flying in on PJs, like I didn't really get it. Like extreme wealth. So they would acquire so much stuff during the year because they wouldn't go home.
They don't have anything to
usually.
do, yeah.
They would stay the whole year, and so they would acquire so much stuff. And because they were wealthy, they were acquiring Jordans, Yeezys, designer clothes, like everything that you buy when you could just when anything under $1,000 is essentially free.
Yeah.
So they were just buying random stuff, and they couldn't go home with all of it.
Yeah, it's cheaper to just buy new ones too.
Yeah,
Basically, yeah. So it's popping for people like us that are business minded. And so it like some of my fondest memories in life are like waiting outside the dorms for like a kid to walk out because we couldn't scan in and stuff like that.
Dude.
To get stuff.
So pretty much what they would do is there would be these boxes on each of the floors of the of where the boarding students lived. These big boxes, and every so often, an international student or whoever would go and put the stuff in they don't want, and when that would happen, there would be a free for all for that box, like a war for the people that knew that were in it, and like I knew about it, you knew about it. And then shout out to some of our other boys.
Yeah, Bryce, Smitty. Yeah, that like we talk about it every year when May comes around. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you would run headfirst for that box and just like try to start grabbing stuff.
And it was always you box out your boys and everything.
Yeah. But dude, what was like some of your best finds?
Yeah,
in that
the
box?
grail find of all time is a Canada Goose jacket that I sold for like $400. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I know my best finds were like I think I got like 2 or 3 pairs of foam posits.
Yes, I remember exactly that, and I was trying to get them off you because I didn't think you had the sauce.
I sold them on eBay like 3 months later for like $200 each, or like $250
I know
each.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was a red and a blue pair.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I got some others. I think I got a belt. I remember Chandler, I think, told me he had got like a Louis Vuitton belt or a Gucci belt.
Well, that was the thing, though. You also had to make sure it was real. There's all types of conversations.
Chances are it was real. Yeah. Because these kids were really
the
like
shoes were always the easy money. I remember it was interesting because I would have to research them to figure out what they were going for and stuff. I'd typically just sell them on Facebook. When your cost of goods is 0, it's very easy to make money. So like that was early back in the day.
Yeah.
Like you gotta like so many people start reselling stuff or they're worried about not having money when like one, not having money is exactly why you have to do it, and 2, it's going to teach you so much getting resourceful like that, like the thrift stores and all that stuff we'll get into eventually, not yet, but like that's super fun stuff.
Yeah, and like just another way to explain it, how wealthy these kids were. There was a time when a gentleman named Arthur left a watch in my room. Turned out that watch was a Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. It was in my room for like 10 days, and I would always just like look at it, and I would look at it on the computer, and I'd be like, oh my god, it's 20. At the time, it was like a $20,000 watch.
Probably way more now.
Yeah,
like
I think it's
50.
like 30 or 35. Wild stuff. But
yeah,
so high school, boarding school, non-traditional, but turned out to be pretty good.
It was the best thing ever. Yeah, and for a while, I thought I was just gonna go be a teacher at one of those schools, basically, until like 2018, basically. Yeah, because I didn't really think I don't know. I just feel like I hadn't been exposed to any other type of way of living, so I was like, all right, like that's
well,
fine,
dude, that's
basically.
why like living in those small towns can be like you just don't know.
Yeah,
like because you're so isolated, and especially in that specific school environment, because like both your parents worked at the school, you lived essentially on campus. You're so involved in the environment and you don't know what else is out there. And I think there's a lot of people like that. They could be just so involved in what their own life, their own path, and they can't see anything else. But there's a whole nother world. Whole nother world.
Thank God for the internet, bro. Seriously.
Yeah, dude, if there was an internet, you'd probably be
hey, you would be too.
All right, guys, Foursquare.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Okay, so high school, where'd you go to college?
Yeah, so I went to a small school in Pennsylvania, but even like that's a little bit nuanced too, because I was planning on going to either a school in Ohio or one in way upstate New York.
What school in Ohio?
It's called Denison.
Okay.
I have still
what about the one in New
lanyard.
York?
It's called St. Lawrence. It's where my mom went. Yeah, and so I was like college decision day. I think is like April 31st. I believe it was like fairly recent.
Not sure if that's a day.
Where you have to declare where you're going. Yeah. Hopefully,
no, I meant like April 31st. I'm not sure if that's an actual date.
30th, whatever, or maybe it's March. I don't remember. Basically, and like that week, I remember I was trying really hard to decide, and like this divine power came over me. It was like, bro, go to the one in Pennsylvania, like that I wasn't even considering. So I caught everyone off guard going there. But the big thing, and this was not the original intention, was that college that I went to in Pennsylvania ended up being the one that was really close to 2 different outlets, and I had never really bought from the outlets much before.
Pause. What's an outlet?
Yeah, Nike outlet, Adidas outlet. Anyone that lives in the States is familiar. Yeah, so where you can get discounted product. And so that was huge for reselling, basically. But I like caught everyone, and even myself, off off guard. And like, bro, even like the week before I was going, I was like, why did I choose this college? Like, I have no idea. Because it was like, I don't know, I wasn't like super attached to any specific one.
Do you think that's how most kids are when that's how I was when I chose Syracuse.
Didn't you early decision though?
Yeah. Well,
so you got to be sure.
I got into like, I think 3 or 4 schools, and I'm pretty sure I lied on my Syracuse application in my essay.
Okay.
So they like.
Well, then you didn't early decision if you applied to a bunch, or I don't know how it works.
I'm honestly not totally sure,
ago.
but yeah, I remember I got in. I was like, all right, I guess I'll just go here. I like the color. Orange is sick.
I don't know. Like that whole time, it was all like the obsession with Legos, and then the obsession with basketball, and now the obsession with business. It's been like these hobbies have been the big thing that's propelled everything forward.
So you're going. What was your high school GPA?
Dude, that's a great question. I probably like a A- average or so, but I messed around a little bit.
3,
2 or something.
Oh.
Yeah, nothing crazy, but like I wrote a good essay on like the Lego hobby and like all the collaboration and stuff. Then I interview well. So hopefully you guys think right now, basically. Yeah. But yeah, so it was like a moderately good, but I had good extracurriculars.
Wait, so you went and did an interview with the college?
Everywhere. Yeah.
Really?
Dude, it's serious out here. Yeah, I was grinding on that stuff. Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, so you were one of those. You were going every weekend going to a different college?
I probably went to like 10.
Yeah, I was not doing that shit. I was like, Mom, we could look at it on the computer. I don't care. Okay, so you're going to college. What is the original game plan? What major... What did you think the roadmap for your next 10 years was going to be, or next 5?
Okay, so that's interesting. Yeah, so in July, like a few weeks before I was leaving, I was working as a camp coach, which was actually super fun, and I was starting to click a little bit shoe wise. I remember I drove to New Jersey and bought like 50 pairs from this one dude. Yeah, it was actually your area too, I think. And then ended up actually losing money on it, interestingly enough. But it was like good experience and stuff buying all those shoes. There was like a picture of me. Oh man, I'm finding the picture of me with all the shoes.
Put up right here.
My God, yeah. So like that was right when, similar to like I was always talking to my Lego homies, I started meeting shoe homies as well. Right now we have a ton of Amazon like online business homies, basically. But like so that started like it's always been fun, basically. But yeah, in July 2017, I was working as a camp coach, which was actually super fun. I previously was a tour guide with my previous jobs, basically, which was actually pretty fun.
What were you giving tours of?
The school and then eventually colleges. Yeah, so 2018, I did camp counseling, and then 2017. And then right before we were going away to college, my mom was like, all right, so like, you going to get rid of the shoes and everything? Like, and I was like, no, I'm going to bring them with me, basically. And so interestingly enough, my original roommate that was planned, we had been talking a little bit, he ended up dipping like a week before and like not going to that college, basically. And so I got a different one. And so I ended up being on a floor. It was just me and these kids on the football team, basically. And like I had my room completely full of shoes because I was flipping them the whole time, basically. And then, yeah, like that was when I was like starting to see like I can make $1,000 a month profit and stuff. And then that was the year I also met these 2 guys I was really, really good friends with, basically. And they would show love. They had a car. You weren't allowed to have a car. They parked off campus. And they would always take me to the post office to ship stuff out, basically. That's love. That's serious love.
How often were they doing that?
Now, I could I could carry stuff, but it was a little bit of work to, like, I've walked several times in the small town to ship stuff out, basically. But yeah, I don't know. They would always go out to eat, so like we would just stop there on the way.
You would carry stuff if you had to?
Complete, bro. The mission over everything.
Yeah, so like this is what a lot of people, like, this is where... That exact hurdle is where people would stop.
Yeah.
They'd be like, well, I can't ship it out. I can't get, like just figure it out.
Bro, no one thinks they're more busy than a kid who averages like a B+ at like a moderately good college.
Yeah. Like it's not even that. They see and I see this when I talk to people who aren't in like online business. They see a hurdle and just kind of stare at it. And they're like, well, the wall's too high. I'm gonna turn around.
Yeah, as if no one else has overcome it, or as if the alternative is better, which it's not.
It's not. Yeah, the slave world.
Yeah, I don't. We're obviously joking with that, but like for a lot of you guys watching this, it's not what you're desiring for.
Yeah, like it's really not. Okay, so shipping out the shoes in college. How much are you making like freshman year a month?
Yeah, so March 2018, I went to Germany with my boys, which is really, really fun. And then
I remember that.
Yeah. So I went there and then I made like $1,000 profit. I remember I got back from Germany in the morning and I went to the outlet that same day. I have an outlet nearby the crib and got some stuff. And that was the first time I made like $1,000 profit, basically. And that was when it started clicking. So this is about 5 years ago. And then it becomes apparent that like all my boys start leaving, because right when I got to college, they changed a couple rules. They took away Greek life. They took away off-campus housing, which is, I mean, a crazy move by them looking back on it. Whatever.
They took away off-campus housing.
Yeah.
So you had to live on campus.
You had to live on,
and you had
even
to
as
pay
as a 22-year-old senior. Yeah. So I had no idea what they were doing with that. And then so that made a bunch of people transfer. Now the key was that your boy didn't transfer, and all my boys did. Like the vast majority of the people I hung out with did, like 60% probably, right? So I end up rooming with the kid I'm not super good friends with, and I just super dial in on business and like start, and I have a car now because it's sophomore year, and start ripping outlets every week. And I remember going to the outlets one time super hungover, like making good money, and then like throwing up and then driving home basically and going back to sleep. Like
that's fun. And also, guys, by the way, Miles is still like that in terms of dialing in. He just moved into a new apartment, and I was like, all right, so you got to put like a couch here, bed frame.
No,
he's like
the mission.
No, I can sleep in the closet, and then we'll have 2 studio rooms here. I'm like, Miles, that's not how it works. You need furniture in the apartment. He's like, yeah, but then I put the desk here, get camera in.
Well, yeah, we'll work on it. But yeah, so that was the most transformative time in my life, I think, was fall 2018. Basically, it's also when I had the least friends, probably, because my boys had just left, basically. And
same, I think.
Yeah, right. And so that was also when I kind of said goodbye to the Lego chapter. We made this sick collaboration in 2018, but like I wasn't really around to do much. Pretty much, like that was when I stopped doing that. And that was also right when, like, the whole time, people don't get, like, the more you do, the more, it's a whole flywheel. Like, the more you do IRL, the more you have to document on socials, the more people you meet on socials, which creates more opportunity to do IRL, to make more money, to make things happen, etc. So that was when I really started to dial in with shoes. I remember I was really grinding heavy, and like I was running up the Adidas outlets in 2018. Like sometimes like I would bring my friends with me if the deal, I'd like argue with employees. The deal was like each body could spend 150 and you get $50 off. So I paid my boys to come with me. We went 4 deep into the Adidas outlet.
So you're walking in there, you feel like
big time
super bad walking in there.
No, because the employees they weren't like super cool. Some of the employees were cool. Anyone who's done retail arbitrage knows how.
But you're walking in deep. You got a mission.
Deep, yeah. Oh, big time. And I'm making like $40 a pair too. So even if we're walking out with 20 pairs, we're still making like $700 profit after paying the gang and stuff like that. And that's also,
dude,
right?
Isn't that the best when you can pay your friends?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, and that's what we try to do, like with stuff, today and everything. And so that was huge because that was when I was telling you it's near the outlets. So I'm driving like an hour there and back. So like 2 hours a weekend, sometimes more depending on what I was doing. And I'm listening to like all the big books now, like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, a lot of Gary Vee stuff and everything. And being introduced to that stuff, it started to show the YouTube algorithm that I was interested in business, because I missed out on the whole internet era of like pre-2018. Basically, like I purely just watched Lego and basketball stuff on YouTube, nothing else.
Yeah.
So that was when the algorithm, like I assume it was that it saw me watching like Grant Cardone videos and Gary Vee videos, and then it also saw me looking at like sneaker Instagram pages. So it's like, okay, like what's the next thing up from there? It's selling stuff on Amazon, right? So I remember the first Amazon related piece of content I ever watched is in like September, October of 2018. I was packaging stuff up, and it was Reezy and Avery, Romer the Romer, talking about how he travels the country with a canoe on the top of his thing selling books. I'm like, there's people selling stuff that aren't shoes out here. And I start learning about it Amazon. I'm like, oh my gosh. The big thing that clicked in my head was like there was people selling like dish soap and stuff like that on Amazon. And that was absolutely mind blowing back in the day. And so I started following all these reselling pages. I remember these people would do live streams every Tuesday. I still follow them. They're still at it. It's pretty awesome. And I would study the whole time and listen to their live stream. It was so interesting seeing what they were doing and being able to learn for free all the stuff that I could then actionably apply, basically. And so that was back when all my boys had shoe Instagram pages. I don't. We're still doing good business and everything. And then in December 2018, I had like listened to enough Gary Vee, and I was in Italy at the time, and I was like, all right, like I'll make the page, make the Flips4Miles page. And then I start posting in January 2019, best decision I've ever made on planet Earth has been starting that page, that Instagram page.
The iconic
the Instagram page. Yeah, like if you guys like go look back at the early stuff, so many of you guys are so afraid to post up because you're procrastinating behind the the idea of not knowing what to
But
post.
but
Know
I'm
exactly
but
what
I'm
you should do.
embarrassed.
Yes, and who cares? Like,
But what about if my parents see it?
yeah, and they'll be proud of you for doing stuff, or who cares anyway? Because it's your life, not theirs.
What if my friends make fun of me? These are all the
Exactly.
like-
Yeah, who cares, dude? Like,
Yeah,
do you want to go clock in for?
dude.
50
But
years?
I think unfortunately for some people, and I think this is part of like, I think at the point that you kind of have to be born with it. Some people really do care, or
But
they're
you-
just lazy and they're using it as a cope.
use the yes, you can't use the label of born with it though, because anyone can do anything.
I know, but some people just don't want to do it,
and
they don't care enough.
and they'll forever have to like.
But some are happy.
Yeah,
on them,
and
which is fine.
completely. Yeah, but if you don't have what you want, you're gonna have to change to get what you want.
Yeah, it's different if you are if you don't do it and then you're complaining about why it's not working.
Yeah.
Then
Meanwhile,
it's like
my
you're-
favorite point with Amazon people is that like so many like grown adults are afraid to exist on the internet. I just tell them like, there's a 19-year-old working half the time you do, making double the money because he's not afraid,
He's making double your annual salary in a month.
and because he's not afraid to.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm more so mean people who are already selling on Amazon that are afraid to do it, and I'm just all right. Like there's a 19-year-old who's working half the hours, making
Yeah.
double the money because he's not afraid to talk to people online.
Yeah, but there's
Yeah.
also with the older people, they didn't really grow up with it, so it's
But
definitely a little
once
harder,
again,
but-
you didn't grow up knowing how to drive,
good point.
so you
Good
learn.
point.
Like
Good point.
everything is how you see it.
It's a good point.
Everything is how you see
I'm
it.
devil's advocate right now.
Completely. And there's a lot of people watching this who are hiding behind those
Yeah.
labels.
And I know there's people who are listening right now. And he's like, "Fuck."
Yeah, and we're
right.
right though. Like I know a little bit in this world, and how to like make money selling on Amazon is like the big thing, and like how to make your life easier by leveraging online relationships, basically.
Yeah, and dude, with YouTube, like you could do anything.
Yeah.
Even if it's not Amazon, if you want to start a
Oh,
mechanic
dude,
shop, a repair, like you
Oh,
can
dude.
learn and do anything.
Yeah, it's like absolutely amazing, and like the fact that people complain about not having money when you could learn anything is crazy.
Yeah.
Like the nice thing is you have the opportunity to go do it. Where were we though?
I was about to say that. Okay,
Yeah,
so
okay.
we were selling
sophomore year of college.
sophomore
yeah.
year of college.
Start the page.
Okay, so what month and year did you find out about Amazon?
Yeah, so it's either September.
when did
or
the clicking moment
September, October of 2018. Yeah.
Okay, so then how long from there until when did you open up the account?
Yeah.
Amazon?
So the interesting part, actually, a little bit before that, speaking of my plan going into college, was actually to become a physical therapist because like my mom said I'd be good at it, basically,
Weird.
and I thought like
Why did she think you would be good at physical therapy?
well, I think I'd be good at anything. Like
yeah, but, specific, like that's
I have
that's
no
a
idea, dude.
random-
Yeah, I have no idea. So I did that, and then, dude, chemistry was rocking your boy. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, save.
Yeah, so I switched into business after that.
Wait, you needed chemistry for physical therapy? This
Yeah.
is not. It just,
You need organic chemistry. For all my science majors know that are watching this. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
So I switched out of that pretty quick and like didn't get good grades my first year. And then I was like, business was easy. So yeah, I find out about Amazon in like October 2019, and then I just keep doing the shoe stuff. But I started to get more into the traditional side of reselling, where it's like used stuff, which was a massive distraction looking back on it. I should have just kept doing the outlet stuff.
Wait, used what?
Used shoes, thrift
Okay.
storing stuff, because that's just so much more fun looking at it. Like it's more of like a treasure hunt and stuff. And that's what like Reezy and them were talking about, basically, which completely does.
It's not
work.
very scalable, but it's really good to start.
And
especially
it's
if you don't have a lot of
because the
money.
ROIs are so good. Yeah. And so
ridiculous,
they were all talking about flipping used books. And I remember swiping up on Avery's story, Romer's story back in the day. I was like, dude, hit me up when you're coming through PA. And he's like, oh, okay. Like,
And at the time, like he still is, but at the time he was like one of the big dogs.
Oh,
in the,
complete-
It was like
yeah, I
him,
love him,
Reezy, Reagan.
Steve, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bunch, yeah, and like all those dudes who are around that are still around are winning big. Every single person
That's
who
true.
I followed
Who we
back
just
then,
mentioned. Yeah, still-
who is
still up.
consistent, who's still around, is winning big. It's almost as if consistently putting yourself out there makes you fully own it, and it becomes a part of your identity,
Yep.
and that's what you put out into the world. Crazy, right? Crazy. What you portray is what you become, right there.
true.
So yeah, so that 2018-2019 period was like very, very lonely, but very, very important. Right. And so that's when I started making like $3 to $5 grand a month profit. I probably made like 25K profit for all of 2018, which is like good bread when you're like chilling, just
you're in college,
selling
it's
shoes.
great.
Yeah. And then I plateaued a little bit in 2019. I probably did about the same because I got so shiny object syndrome about other types of reselling. Like I was making like $5 grand a month, $3 to $5 grand a month profit going to outlets, and I like just started selling used stuff and made way less money.
Yeah. So you pretty much went from outlets to
Which makes no sense to do.
Books.
Hindsight. Yeah. Because I thought Amazon was better. Now, long term that was the right play. But I end up, speaking of like the loneliness side of thing, I end up living on campus to intern in 2019 because it was required for my major, and I was pretty sure I was going to graduate early at that point because I knew I was going to do business full time. I just didn't know what business I was going to do full time, but that was right. So 2019, I was like, all right, summer of 2020, I'm going to be just doing business because I know I'm going to be good by then. So I need to do this internship now. And I live in a really small town, so it's a little, I don't even like to say stuff is hard, but I thought it was going to be hard to get an internship. So I just did it in my college town. Lived on campus. It definitely
would have been hard to do it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And I lived by myself and with this other kid off and on, basically, like in a town completely by myself, basically, and just grinded, learning stuff. Still doing outlets, still doing shoes. And then it's like July, and I'm like, man, I got to try that Amazon thing, basically. So I open up my account. And then
July 2019.
July 2019, okay. Yeah, so almost 4 years ago. And so I start selling books. For those of you guys who are starting Amazon in the past 2 years, you are incredibly lucky. You do not know what it's like to see the people on Instagram selling Legos and Adidas stuff and have no idea and understand that you're probably not going to be able to sell that stuff for a couple years, basically, because ungating used to be difficult. Now it is incredibly easy. You can watch my tutorial if you want to see how.
Yeah.
And everything. So yeah, the idea was I'm going to start selling books on Amazon. That's going to be the long-term play, but I don't know when ungating is going to become a thing. If the idea was that you would hit some magical sales number and Amazon would just start.
That, yeah.
I forgot what it was called. It was like, I don't even remember.
It really was like, I know I just talked about how you need to get over walls.
Yeah.
But at the time, ungating was like, we thought you had to have the account for like 2 years.
Something
you had
like
to have
that,
had like it was like a couple $1 million in sales, and then one day you would just go to request Nike, and it would just be there.
That'd be there.
But it was extremely difficult.
Yep.
And I think, on a side note, I think it is starting to go back to that, which I think it should, to be honest.
With like counterfeits and stuff.
Yeah. But
yeah. So I start, and the interesting thing is the whole time in this 2019 period, I like stopped going out in college a lot, and I started, so I stopped going out, and I started like doing a lot more stuff on Instagram. So I was like building a following the whole time. I started to meet people, and they're like showing me stuff like crazy, and that was like really cool because it was so similar to Legos, so similar how people are starved to find people like them in person, especially in small towns like where I'm from.
Like-minded individuals.
Yeah,
in anything
and
you're doing.
you go online and you find those people, and there's still like the amount of people, I don't really think about it this way, the amount of people that were posting about Lego stuff versus consuming it was so similar to the amount of people that are posting about Amazon stuff versus consuming it. There's so many more people consuming it, and all the results come from the people who are existing and owning it, right?
Yep.
Right there. So yeah, I started doing that, and like you guys can go look at all this stuff on my Instagram back in 2019. It's all there. It's really funny. I reposted one of the videos from 4 years ago today, actually, like 3 days ago. It's beautiful. I'm like all like, hey, it's Miles. Today I sold this stuff. Yeah, it's popping, dude. Like that stuff's so valuable. Like thank God that dude kept doing what he was doing.
I remember when your Flips4Miles page just like appeared on
We're
my
getting to
Instagram
that though.
feed.
We're getting to that. Yeah.
Well, no, because it's around I think that time.
Okay.
And you were doing, or maybe not, but you were doing like a book challenge.
Okay.
It was like,
give me a couple months.
All right.
Give me a couple months.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, thank God I kept going with that stuff basically. And at this point, like everyone's telling me you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like I'm deathly afraid of like girls at school knowing about it. And like my boys know, but like, they're kind of like, oh, that's just like a weird thing you do. Like, which is fine. I'm still cool with them or whatever. But the key was that the people online didn't think I was crazy. Right? They didn't think I was crazy for enjoying selling stuff. And the Lego people didn't think I was crazy for that either. So like, it's just so hard. And so many people watching this, I think, agree that like people that are around you don't care. And one, they shouldn't care about what you're interested in, right? You're lucky to have the internet where for free you can go find the people that think like you.
And you're lucky just to have good interest too. Some people have horrible interest that they'll wind up dead in fight. Like it's your positive influences
completely
on your life.
Making money, right? And everything. So I'm doing that internship and I start selling on Amazon, and I'm doing the Instagram page the whole time. And I think it was Caleb Roth, another legend in the space, right? Another great guy, right? And these dudes are giving away everything for free with the book stuff. So I'm just like,
sauce.
Yeah, like I got my scanner, right? I'm going and scanning
What's the name
books.
of the scanner?
Yo, shout out to them,
$40.
dude. Yep, $42.99. They probably raised the price.
With the blue
light.
button
Yep.
and the plastic scanner.
Good times, dude. I still got a couple of them at home. I'm sure you
had.
too.
Did you have the AirPods in or the headphones in with
got
the?
it.
You had the noise.
Got it. Yeah. Boom.
So
boom,
you could be going boom, 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 boom,
cha-ching,
ding, take it.
Yep. Yeah. So what that looks like is because books are the main thing you could sell on Amazon back in the day that wasn't gated. You would go to thrift stores and
somewhere.
Somewhere, not a lot though. Yeah. And you would go and you would scan all the really cheap books at the thrift store one by one, and it would ding in your head if it was profitable, or in your headphones, because you would scan it with the Bluetooth scanner, basically. And so, I just started doing that, and I set a challenge. There's a really cool interview from almost 4 years ago of Avery and I. If you search
I remember that interview
Romer
too,
the Romer college kid, you'll see me in 2019 when I was 20 talking about the 2,000 book challenge I was doing for August. And what's crazy is I was taking like crazy. Looking back, I never looked at Keepa or anything like that. So I was looking at which is fine with books because you're getting stuff for free.
I don't think I was looking at Keepa. I was just looking on the Scout
numbers.
IQ estimated.
Yeah, and the nice thing is it ended up being really profitable.
If it was
on a
over
percentage
like
basis.
20, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
20 sales, I'm taking
big time.
10
big
sales,
time.
I'm taking the book.
Yeah, big time. And so it's pretty cool. I remember sitting at my internship the first 3 days of selling on Amazon, like waiting for a sale. And I remember I went to the bathroom. And by the way, this whole internship, it was in the insurance industry, basically. I was like chilling the whole time because you had to pass this exam to start doing stuff. And it took me like 5 weeks to do the, and what was cool was the internship was unpaid. So it was a major win-win for everyone because I'm purely just taking up a space at the office, right? I'm learning about business the whole time. I'm getting the internship credit. And then I don't know how the company benefited, but like I definitely wasn't a drag or whatever. So it took me like 5 weeks, and I only had to do 8 weeks to get the internship requirement, basically. So I'm like chilling, learning about business the whole time. And then I passed the test. And then like that week I get my first sale on Amazon too. It's lit. Dude, I sold this textbook I got for free for $86. Like that's, dude, like I just made 10 hours of my camp counselor salary.
Yep.
Basically right there, because camp counseling honestly was lit back in the day, like in 2017 and 2018.
Yeah, no, I did that too.
That was my favorite job. I like tour guiding too, honestly. I've been pretty lucky with good jobs, honestly, basically. But yeah, so we did that, and then in August I did the 2,000 book challenge. So that's a lot of books.
I think this is where you started posting a lot.
Yeah,
because I remember this is where you first came up.
That's what's nice when you have a challenge like that. And I learn this every day. Like it's so much easier to do stuff every day than it is 3 times a week.
Yeah, and I remember you would post the video and you'd be like, I think you would tally it. You'd be like, all right, I have 153 books out of 2,000 now.
Yes.
And you would do it almost every day.
Yeah.
You would update it.
Yep.
And it would be like, okay, the tally's here. And I remember watching.
Because it tells a story, bro. Like if people did I would love to follow a kid who posts a daily update every day on Amazon Twitter. Like I would love to help them out. And the key was that I was so owning this, putting my face out there, getting on camera, that people were helping me for free like crazy because I was just out there, dude. And like people want to help people. I really
and you were inspiring a lot of
basically,
people who are here now.
Yeah, sure, right, completely, right. And so all that stuff's still there. People can go look at it if they want, basically. But yeah, in 2019 August, and then I go back to college for junior year. Your boy's got the single this year, so I got shoes all over the place. I got books all over. It's exactly how I want to live today.
Yeah,
exactly how I want to live today, basically. And so I was junior, so even less of my friends are around now. And I had this crazy hard class, dude. It met 7 times a week. The class,
every day?
No. So it was Sunday night, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, twice on Thursday, and then you had an exam every Friday. It's crazy.
What class was it?
It's called managerial economics. And what's crazy, dude, the guy's honestly a genius, dude. The guy who taught the class, because he wrote the textbook. And so he would make a new edition every year and print money off of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what they do. They just make new stuff.
Yeah. So that was all I did. But the key was that this was right when I was like, okay, dude, like there's no way I'm like having a job in the future and stuff, most likely, because I like really enjoyed business. So I just knew it was going to work. And this is, every entrepreneur has had the cold shower phase. This was my cold shower phase. So I'm getting up early. I'm listening to all this motivational stuff. I'm still not making a ton of money, but like $3,000 when you're like pretty part-time is decent when you're 20 or 21, basically.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And so I'm doing the Flips4Miles page this whole time, and like Q4 is coming up. I'm still doing the book stuff. And then I get back from the exam on probably like a Tuesday night, and I have a DM from D DeFeo 47. yo, I see you're doing this Amazon stuff. I'm about to get started with the 2. Wait for it. I already bought the scanner. And that was when I knew he was destined for greatness, because he did not ask a dumb question that he could answer on Google. He already bought the scanner.
That's
and
me, by the way, if anyone has
yes.
that.
And so right from there, I probably FaceTimed you immediately or something like that.
I think we started DMing back and forth right away.
And then, yep. So you are at Syracuse right now, failing out, and you have a motorcycle that you're flipping.
Dude. Yeah, that was. I spent I had like $4,000 in my name, and I spent $3,000 on this motorcycle.
Did you make money on it?
Very stupid. I think I sold it for like break even.
Okay.
No, I think I actually bought it for like $2,500 and sold it for $3,000 jersey.
Okay,
but,
W.
But yeah, dude, I saw your content, and I was fixing phones, and like every 10th phone, I would break the phone, just because like how Apple is. Like, it would kind of self-destruct, and I was like, well, this is a problem. Like, this isn't scalable. So I started following you. I was selling stuff on eBay at the time as well.
You just always had that sauce. Like, those are my people.
I mean, yeah, I was always
people that
selling
sell stuff are my
life.
people. Like, those are the people that build the world. All the people who were selling candy, selling Legos, whatever.
Yeah, but dude,
like,
no, it's 100% your content that brought me onto Amazon.
And it's the same way with like Avery's to me and Breezy.
And what's crazy is I definitely saw selling on Amazon before I saw your content. I 100% saw it. There's no way I didn't see it. But I never thought I could do it until I saw someone else exactly like me from the same exact situation also doing it.
Yep. And I like that because like you always say, if you could do it, I can do it. That's the way you got to treat life.
That is kind of what I thought. I was like, if this kid is doing it, I can fucking do it.
Like I love our crew down here in Miami, but like the intelligence level is like a lot lower than like the people we went to college with and stuff, but the level of output financially is like 10x average per person.
I mean, the intelligence level is it's probably the same. It's
right.
No one's like a super genius.
Well, and no one has to be professional. Yeah. So that's probably where we notice it as well.
Yeah. No, but dude, it was. I mean, there's like a crossroad when you see someone from your hometown doing great things. You can either go, "Oh, and he's cheating. He's doing something illegal," or wow, he figured something out. I can do it too.
But what was cool was that it wasn't even great things. It was just something that people weren't doing. Yeah. It was enough to push you over the edge to get started with it, right? So yeah, and then me and you just like basically been building ever since. Because I remember we started talking pretty daily about the book stuff.
Yeah.
And everything, nothing really changed from like an output level. Like I was probably making like $3,000 a month profit. I think I made like $27K in 2019. Basically, which is, a little bit better, but it was also like, it was a much more better, like a much more scalable 27K. Because like this is when I start making friends.
You could feel the difference.
Yeah, too. I start learning stuff. I'm starting to think about investing. I'm starting to read credit card blogs like crazy in class.
That phase you had.
Dude, I still have all of it memorized.
No, I know.
Because that was huge, bro. Because I became the credit card guy in like this phase a little bit. So I was answering questions like crazy about stuff. Yeah, and I still remember all of it. And like the little stepping stones, like I learned to resell stuff, and then I learned about credit, and then once I had a really scalable like online arbitrage, the credit stuff became huge. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Real quick, three best credit cards for people listening. Real quick, three best credit cards.
Capital One Spark, business one, the 2% cashback one, and yes, it has an annual fee. You annual fee scaredy cats. Pay the annual fee. It doesn't report on your personal credit. That's my favorite one personally for benefits. 2% cashback goes crazy. And then the other one is the Amex Plum, which gives you a 60-day payback period. If you're brand new, my favorite one is the Discover It card. I remember you and I both had that.
To get the credit going.
Exactly, right? So that's what I did as well, because I started that late too. Like I started that at 20, late when I was like almost 21.
Yeah, and anyone who's basically 18 years old or maybe hasn't started building your credit, dude, start.
Yeah, school doesn't teach you about any of that stuff.
You need to get that Discover It card and then get the other Discover card
and then
pay
Amex at 6 month mark, dude. Because I remember I was so dialed in on the 6 month anniversary of my credit. Same. I got the Amex, yeah. And I still, dude, I didn't even need it because I was just selling books at the time. And like I remember I had like 22 grand cash in my account back in the day. It was sick, and like I couldn't spend any of it because there was nothing to spend it on because I'm selling books, right? And then so this is huge actually. So this is like peak your boy, like really not being afraid of stuff and everything. I was going crazy during this. I was annoying the shit out of people trying to get books off. I'm making like good money doing it basically.
Yeah, so talk about what you were doing to try to get more books. So
Yeah,
specifically
bro,
textbooks,
I was like
probably.
hitting up everyone on Snapchat, posting on my story, like getting removed from group chats like crazy. And like I was making good money, dude. I probably made like $6,000.
Dude, textbooks,
one
just
month.
by the way,
Crazy
are,
money.
If you're going to
Yeah.
sell books, textbooks are the loop.
Big
Because
time.
you can sell that textbook that Michelle bought at the bookstore for $120. You could buy that from her for $40, resell it on Amazon for $100.
Yep.
And that's going to be every single year until they all go online.
And it's so interesting looking the seasonal, like the Kiva charts, knowing what we know now about Kiva charts. If you look up like any of you guys who are in college watching, probably a decent amount of you guys, go and if you're an Amazon person, look on Kiva and see the seasonality of the demand, the sales rank with the books. It's literally hilarious. It looks like pools in 2020. It does. Like, and so that's really, really fun. So I'm annoying people like crazy, like, and everyone starts knowing me as the book guy and everything. And this is 21 now. And then basically, and what's crazy too is, so I was telling you, right? So 2017, 2018, I have a really good friend group. 2018, 2019, a lot of my friends transfer, right? And then 2019 fall is study abroad for most of my class. And I don't do it. So I'm one of the only juniors on campus, basically, because I really liked business stuff. I was like, I'll travel when I'm rich, even though I wasn't making money, which is unfortunately still hasn't happened, but whatever. We're dialed in right now and everything. So I'm like one of the only juniors like on campus that's not like a fall athlete. Not only, but like there's not a lot, right? And then I have a single in the dorm. So I'm like completely dialed in, learning stuff, reading books, everything like that, like really kind of in like a sense of monk mode basically. And then you and I started building with the book stuff. And then a lot of my friends come back in January of 2020 and I'm not in that really hard class anymore. So I have a ton more time for business. And that was when like my GPA went way up because I wasn't in that tough class anymore. And that was when you got the warehouse. You want to talk us about the January 2020 warehouse?
Yeah, dude, I tend to dive into things maybe a little bit too quickly.
Big time.
And I was selling books for like 4 months, and I was essentially getting pushed out of Syracuse in a nice way, so I had to drop out. And I was like, fuck it, I gotta show my family I'm doing something and it's really working. So I pulled the trigger on a warehouse, started
I don't know how you got approved. Like I was worried about getting approved for mine.
Well, I didn't have to get approved necessarily. It was like I went to the landlord and negotiated the deal. I was like, look, I'll give you half the deposit now, the other half in 30 days. You never got the other half. Or no, I think I said 90 days.
This is February 2020, right?
January 2020.
So it was immediate. So it was a new year.
I had the warehouse lease signed end of December 2019.
Yeah, so you knew you weren't going back to Syracuse. I didn't even know you were like leaving. I thought you were transferring. Like you never told me that you were like.
And I feel bad. I told my roommate at the time. I was like, "Hey man, like I'm not coming back." Like the day before we were supposed to get. back.
And you were super cool with him.
Yeah, he's my boy.
Okay, okay,
it's my
cool.
boy. Matt. Shout out Matt.
That's Matt.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully Matt watches this.
Yeah.
someday.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Matt.
Okay. Cool.
But Matt never kept the dishes clean, so you know.
Okay. So he deserves it. Whatever. But yeah. So you get the warehouse going, and now we're talking pretty often.
Oh yeah. No. I think once the warehouse is going, we both started taking this
because you had
very
to
seriously.
because dude, it's really fun when you do it with your boys. Like there's a lot of people doing online business alone right now, selling on Amazon alone, and they're just like at such a disadvantage because if you're competing against people that one have been doing it way longer, which isn't everyone, but two that are having fun with it, and the way you have fun with it is you do it with people you like, and the way you find people you like is you get on Twitter, you get on Instagram, right? Get on Discord, right? And you and I were doing that together. So that was what made it really easy to keep going when it wasn't as fun. And I had the page, so I was meeting a lot of people that were doing cool stuff too, basically. But yeah, and so that comes up, and then pretty much business as usual. I sell a ton of textbooks, still doing some shoes here and there. And then I remember I made an FBA shipment on like Tuesday, like got rid of a ton of books, and then go home for spring break. And that was the last time I ever set foot at college as a student, basically, right there. Because COVID hit, and I remember I was like, this is crazy. Like, we got a whole week off, and I was like, dude, it'd be nice. Or no, I remember it came out that one of our rival schools had a week of school off. I know some kids who go there, and I took a nap. I was like, yo, it'd be pretty clutch if we got a week off too. And then I wake up from the nap, it's like, oh, we got a week off too. Cool. Okay. And then it just ended up keeping going from there. And so that early COVID period, bro, was like, that was the most transformational period in 100%. So many people.
And you know what? A lot of people, they say that COVID, as bad as it was for obviously a lot of people,
terrible. Yeah.
For a lot of entrepreneurs, especially in the online marketplace, this is the period in their life where things just went.
There was nothing to do except make progress, and that's the way it should be for young guys. Like that's
everyone
I don't
was
want to
essentially
relax.
forced into a monk mode.
Yeah,
pretty much. Like you couldn't go hang out with your friends.
Yeah,
you thought you were gonna die. You couldn't do anything.
Yep. And so the big thing with that was that I couldn't get any book inventory, right? But shoes were popping back then in like April because all the inventory went online, so it was all online releases. It wasn't in store anymore, right? So that stuff starts popping, and I have the Instagram page so people know who I am just because I exist. So if I slide in someone's DMs, I have a lot more social proof than an anonymous account. That alone is a big one up. But I knew a ton of credit card stuff, so I would go to these shoe discords and say, hey, can I join? Because some of them would be, dude, like the way these guys marketed it was crazy. Like how you wouldn't be able to join certain stuff. Like these guys were really sharp for like being 19 and stuff. And obviously they're making a ton of money. Basically, I would say, can I run a credit card section if I can be a member? Basically. So I remember I made some like huge high level shoe connections just off of offering services to answer credit card questions, which was like niche expertise. And like really what I did is I just read 20 hours of blogs, which is quite literally everyone watching this could go do and then be fairly proficient in anything.
Yeah, you could be you could,
which is
in a weekend you
amazing.
Could become an expert in pretty much anything.
Yeah, like more than the average person, right? So that was when I started to pivot back to shoe stuff, basically. And then also another big thing, right? Just over time, when you're building the personal brand, you're getting followed by random people. You're following random people because you have a page that's purely business related. So like a lot of what you consume starts to be like really brainwashing yourself into doing good stuff and everything. That's why like I don't think anyone should have Snapchat. Like and like very few people should have a personal Instagram. Like just nothing good, like nothing happens on there that gets you closer to where you want to be.
I mean, yeah.
Basically, the Snapchat part's huge. B-Flips and B-Flips really
I'm not
agrees
really
with
on
me
Snapchat.
on that.
Is B-Flips on Snapchat?
Do you have it downloaded?
Yeah.
Red flag. No, but yeah, like you're obviously different because you have very important stuff that moves the needle daily, right there. But yeah, dude. So where were we with that?
We I don't know.
We're spitting.
You were going off about we came from books. We were talking about books.
Yeah. Okay. So early COVID now. Yeah, I stopped
COVID.
Doing Amazon stuff. Yeah, because you just like can't get product basically.
Well, wait before you go on. Where's the Flips4Miles page? Like April, May, COVID.
Yeah.
So 2020. Where's the Flips4Miles page?
2,000 followers probably, which is a ton.
Dude, I remember thinking, I was like, fuck, I can never get that.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Because you had the Danny Profits page. I remember I made that name. Yeah. I made the Wi-Fi Astronaut name too, by the way. No, I made the FBA Astronaut name. And then you changed it to
I changed it to Wi-Fi.
I did make that, and I wrote those initial threads that got, I'm good, nice with the ghostwriting. Like people sleep on me, but some of those tweets you guys are retweeting out there written by me, especially in the Amazon space, right there. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm just doing my thing. Like it becomes a part of you when you're used to doing stuff, and that's what's so hard. Like in that dude, an Amazon seller who's been at it for 2 years, like leads just find them. You know what I mean? Like opportunity just finds you once you've been in the game for a while. And it's the same thing with building your personal brand, or I don't even like the idea of personal brand because people take it too seriously, just documenting what you're doing. That's the easy way to do it. You just find stuff to talk about basically. So yeah, I'm just doing my thing the whole time. And like, this is when it starts to pivot more to like shoe stuff. And then I actually get really into finance too. I completely forgot about this. I really, really liked like Graham Stephan, index funds. So I start talking about that a lot too, because I'm just like talking about what I'm learning and everything. Like we like kind of laugh at it today because like just we realized wealth is built through income at the start, right? But like it's cool looking at those compound interest calculators and stuff the first time. Like even like if you guys can even save like $500 a month, it's like it ends up being pretty significant compared to what the average person has with like compound interest and stuff like that. So I'm talking about that a lot. And then also too, I was like going on the personal brand side of things, I start to find money Twitter. And now money Twitter is very different back in the day, but it's beautiful. It is amazing because people are talking about making money in ways that isn't just reselling. People are talking about trading, affiliate marketing, selling stuff on eBay, investing, everything like that. So I start to get exposed to like the really broader sphere of making money online, basically. And like this whole time, mind you, I don't know what making money online is, but I've made like I've been doing it for years, basically. Right there. And so I start to learn about like the broader money Twitter sphere, basically. And it's like pretty straightforward. I remember I documented like the whole process up to save my first 100K. It was like a pretty interesting thing I did on Instagram and stuff back in the day. And then you and I, you have the warehouse and you start doing some like wholesale stuff as well early in there. I feel like we didn't talk a ton the latter half of 2020 because we kind of went separate ways business model wise.
With Amazon.
Yeah, right.
I was trying to do wholesale and you were doing
or no, I was doing OA for shoes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. And then I'm doing the personal brand the whole time too, basically. So not a ton happens that whole half of 2020. It's just kind of like business as usual, but I'm finishing up college actually.
The mutual fund's going crazy.
Oh, dude, the market.
The mutual fund printer.
That was amazing.
Right when stimmies came out, they're going.
Yeah, dude. So I made I made like 30K with that. I think I made more that year than I had made previously, like passively. I think it was something like that crazy.
Because the market was going crazy.
Yeah, that shit's crazy, bro. When you start like making money without inputs, even though it wasn't a ton, it was definitely a ton back then, basically. And so, mind you, this whole time I'm taking online classes, and then. Dude, like there's all this divine stuff, but the going to college in Pennsylvania was huge. And then the just trusting myself to graduate college early, that I would figure it out because I had to do 5 classes the last 2 semesters and take summer classes to get that done basically. But like the way it worked, bro, that I did the internship in 2019 so that I had the time available to do the summer classes in summer of 2020 was just so huge. And I just like don't know how that stuff came together. It came together so perfectly, basically. One might say God really did on that. Yeah. Right there. So that was huge, dude. So now dude, online college was a complete joke, basically. Like, yeah, completely.
Online school
so I was just doing business the whole time, basically, like the whole time and everything. And then pretty business as usual. I probably made 45K in 2020, maybe 50K. I think it was more like 60 actually. Yeah, it was about 60, which is, dude, for like how all over the place I was like pretty decent. Cause like the nice thing was I had been doing the personal brand for like 2 years at this point. So like I got, $200 a month from the Scat IQ affiliate here. I got this little course here. I'm getting an affiliate sale here. You just start like finding opportunity when you're in the mix because so few people are in the mix at all. Yeah. Like the opportunity just seeps up to the people who are out there to find it. It's facts though. It totally does. It completely does.
It's a funny clip.
Yeah. It's completely true though. Yeah. Right there. So I finished college and then I remember, dude, like I woke up the day because finishing college a semester early anyway, there's like no graduation ceremony, but there definitely isn't during COVID. So I was like, all right, like I turned in this last exam. I was like, all right, boys, well, let's figure this thing out. Basically right there.
You click submit and you're like,
yeah. So remember we had the unemployment club group chat, which was like me, you, Ben, Carter, Braden. There's a ton of guys in there basically. And so we're talking in there about random stuff, just business wise, a lot of like just general, like we're all younger dudes who like didn't have anyone to talk to in real life about this stuff. Basically, but it's probably 20 deep, so it's actually still going. It's crazy. 3 years later, it's still going.
It is still going.
Yeah. I'm not in it.
I think
anymore,
I'm still in it.
Yeah. No way. I removed you a while ago. Okay, well, I really want to fact check that, but
we can fact check it right now.
And so what was cool, right, is just every day we're talking about stuff, and then gradually, this is during so Amazon in 2020. Go look at the Keep It chart on any pool listing. It's absolutely hilarious how high the prices went. Just stupid. Basically, and so I see people doing that during the summer of 2020, but I was still like quarantined and stuff. And then I see people talking about flipping weights. And then the big thing was during Q4, the Cocoa Melons went crazy, this toy. And I'm like, all right, like something doesn't add up. How did I see this dude who I was following on Twitter yesterday that he's like, I just started my Amazon account yesterday. I made $3,000 selling Cocoa Melons today. Yeah. Like, how are people getting engaged and stuff? So I asked my boys and they're like, dude, like, just order from eSpay, EE Distribution, and you can get it done. And I'm like, nah, like, no way, basically. And then I just had all this time, and the big thing in 2020,
because we were still brainwashed.
Yes, about the dude.
Yeah.
I completely was.
I still remember when like eSpay and EE would start working. I was like,
no way. Yeah. And so what I spent the latter half of 2020 doing was, shout out Cool Email Wizard on Twitter. Him and this dude named Matthew Pake were talking about starting an agency, and that was like, that's a sick business model because you don't need money and stuff. That was like my first experience. So I spent August of 2020 until February of 2021 really trying to sign agency clients, basically.
I remember
looking back, I could completely make that work, but like it was crazy how little effort I was putting in and thinking it was a lot of effort. Dude, I would sit there for like 30 minutes a day and send 10 cold emails and like think that was a lot of work. Like, dude, if we were starting that today, like I'm sending 100 cold emails a day.
The VAs are scraping 1,000 leads.
Dude, I'm sending voice messages. Like I could get that to 10K a month, and like maybe in a week, dude. Honestly, like probably like 2 weeks basically, because I would be good at closing people too.
Yeah,
basically as well. Right there. So yeah, pretty much. December 2020, I'm grinding hard on the agency stuff, not making much money, but I got a $1,000 retainer here, $1,500 retainer here. I'm learning about offers. I'm giving people money back guarantees. I had this good offer where like I would tell them I would get them a certain amount of leads or I would refund them, but the problem was they wouldn't end up making any money because they were so afraid to call the people that opted in on the Facebook ads, which is my fault for not forcing them to do it, because like these people like. I mean, I didn't have much money. They definitely didn't have much money. And they were so deathly afraid of calling people that had opted in on these Facebook ads that were interested in their services, whatever. Basically, and I had this one real estate agent client that was sick that like he kept me going in the early days, basically. But yeah, so February rolls around. I'm still trying to make the agency stuff work. Like I said, I probably made like 50 to 60K in 2020, which is like not bad at all. It's like probably what I made at the job the first year if I were to get one, basically. And then ungating becomes a thing. And mind you, I have the shoe inventory still at this point. I'm still flipping shoes part-time here. I'm like, all right, like I'll try the ungate stuff. I order from East Bay some Adidas stuff. Bang, ungated immediately, like within 12 hours. And then I'm like looking, I see I got like a random shoe here, a random shoe here. I just start tossing those things up FBM. They're flying. Basically, they're flying. So I'm like, fuck it. Well, talking about what I'm doing has worked so far. I'm like, hop on Instagram. Hey guys, I'm doing Amazon again, basically. And like this OA stuff's moving crazy. And then that's in February, right? So you're doing wholesale stuff. We're definitely talking. So this is 2021. We're talking a little bit. Yeah. Just because like I'm getting back into it. I remember you said you made like 75K on something. I thought that was fucking insane.
On what? On
the wholesale stuff.
Yeah, on some wholesale
which is crazy.
I think 75K in sales.
Because like
75K in sales.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was profit. Okay. Wow.
No, it
okay.
had to be in
Yeah.
sales.
All right.
It was probably like
okay.
20K profit.
Which
at
is
the time.
yeah, dude. Because oh my gosh, man, the margins were crazy on stuff back in the day, basically. So yeah, pretty much. I get ungated and stuff starts flying, and then I'm watching a Gary Vee video. He just reminds me of the basics so much. I like to watch it today too. He's like, I can't believe you don't reply to every comment. I'm like, yeah, man, you're right. Like, I'm not just gonna reply to every comment. I'm gonna message them and thank them too. And All Out Amazon with 2 N's is one of the comments, and I don't follow them. I follow them now because he commented, and then I slide in his DMs, and somehow we end up getting on Zoom, and we hit it off. Right, we're talking about stuff and everything, and then it's Garrett has an older brother, Dylan. A lot of people don't know that, actually. And so I start talking to them a lot. And then, like, the second time we get on a call, I'm like, all right, like 8 p.m. tonight, you guys cool with that? They're like, sure. And then, like, right before, I'm like, hey, can one of my friends from high school that sells on Amazon come? And it's, I guess. And then, dude, they were unbelievably helpful for us. Still are. But, like, there was zero reason to tell us all this stuff they did immediately. Basically, outside of that, like, we had the credibility that we existed online, so they knew we were serious, right? They knew we'd bring some value back because you could go look at 2 years of me.
Do you know what's crazy? I think I do. I think I remember this.
It was like
I can vividly remember sitting on my desk and doing this.
Yeah, completely. And I was like, hey, can my button? They're like, sure. And then immediately they start showing us this tactile expander stuff, which was
I remember that,
dude, that stuff was crazy profitable back then because everything sold for the moon because there was no competition on anything right there. And so that was I probably made my first sale on like February 11th or so. And then I just had inventory, dude, from reselling for so many years that stuff was just moving like crazy, basically. So I probably did like 5K revenue immediately. And then remember we had all those spreadsheets of leads? Yep. I still look at it every once in a while. It's like there's a New Balance tab, an Adidas tab, a Nike tab. Basically, a lot of what we were doing was scraping ASIN lists of like a certain brand and then plugging it in on tactile expander and stuff like that. Doesn't work. Just seller and reverse source, keep a product finder these days are way better, basically. But that was what we were doing back in the day. And then, dude, it just took off like an absolute rocket ship. Like, remember when we found the Air Force One listing? How quick that stuff was selling?
Yes.
Remember going to war with those Chinese sellers that were buying and then canceling?
Yes.
I don't know how they stopped doing that, but we got lucky.
They still do that.
It's harder though. But remember how we would like you would list stuff and it would sell crazy quick because there was so low competition, but you wouldn't know for like a few hours if it was an actual sale.
Well,
or
yeah,
not.
you would have to like go through because so what you'd have to do is you have to put your inventory at 999 and then limit it to like 1 or 2.
Oh yeah.
And I remember when it was happening, it was on like some random listings. It was kind of around what I was selling, but I remember calling Amazon seller support and I was like, why the hell is my inventory not staying in stock and it's saying it's sold and I'm not getting any sales? And then they're like, oh man, we don't know. And they got more people on the call. And he's like, well, it appears that you sold all of it in about 30 seconds. And I was like, well, that's not true. That's wrong. Fix it. And so they were the ones who suggested put your inventory to 999, limit it. And then when you sell out, just take it off.
Figure it out, fam. Yeah, figure it out. Which is what was clutch was, dude, we were FBMing everything. So like you had such flexibility and you had such speed to replenish. It's like still that way today.
I remember filling up the back of the Grand Cherokee.
So popping, dude. Yeah. Like, and
USPS guy was not happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and we were just at, dude, I wasn't even considering FBA stuff because it would move so quick.
It would take FBA also back then. I feel like
during COVID it took way longer.
Oh my god, like 6 weeks.
Remember how quick it was before COVID? It was unbelievable how quick stuff would check in. Yeah, and now it's like it's like in the middle. Yeah, not if you're in Oregon. It's
peak.
Yeah,
really, it's
way slower.
I feel like I've always had pretty good luck.
Always be on the East Coast fulfillment wise if you can for like prep centers and stuff.
Peak COVID. Like right when they stopped, well, you couldn't send an FBA.
That's I was
going
to bring that up. Yeah, it's crazy. During early COVID, you couldn't FBA anything, so everyone had to FBM stuff,
which was honestly good because if you known there was a loop, which
you could get on it so quick. Yeah,
like if you were, there was a default handling time of 2 days, and the way you got into the buy box was by having the lowest shipping time. So the way you competed with the other people, if you made your handling time 1 day.
You can still do that. I still have coaching students who do that today. Yeah.
You will leapfrog over people and get into the buy box at the same price. Sometimes even a higher price just because you're going to get it quicker.
So right around this time when the Air Force Ones are popping off, you were really obsessed with the rocket emoji.
Yeah.
And so I remember
because that was from GameStop. Shout out GameStop.
Yes. So because we would always FaceTime. It was me, you, Jake, Garrett, and Dylan, basically, in the group chat together, right? And I remember we were all selling the same stuff because it was like me, you, it was us, and then Sawyer. You know Sawyer on Twitter? Yeah, so he was on, some other shoe guys. And the competition was so low, it was just crazy. Selling Air Force Ones for like $40
Dude, I remember keeping them in my dining room.
Yeah.
Stacked
so
up.
Popping, dude. Yeah. And like what was huge was that all the work prior to that had compounded like crazy. Like I had the capital, I knew the right people. It was just now I had the right vehicle to go make a couple $100K. Basically. So yeah, like the second month I did like 30K in sales. I think you did more than that. Basically. Or like right around March of 21.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, right?
I mean Air Forces and
it was
and
so
other
popping.
Private label stuff.
And Floby too.
Yeah.
Floby was lit.
Floby was lit.
Yeah.
The returns were kind of a problem.
Yeah, looking back, I didn't even think of that, but you're absolutely right.
Because you would get a return that you couldn't do anything with it because there would have hair on it.
Yeah, there was like this retro hair clipper thing. So I made like 6K that second month and like, okay, this is it. It's time to buckle down and go hard. And we would just like FaceTime. I remember getting a FaceTime from Garrett, this dude I had never met in real life who I met 1 month ago, and just immediately printing $300 profit out of thin air.
With Flobies.
You
pull out the Visa debit and get to work.
I knew you were going to say that because they didn't take Amex.
Dude, that was so annoying.
Stressful. Yeah, I was checking out on debit cards. It made accounting that year so hard too.
They would have taken Amex. We would have
been so much richer. But remember how there were limits and we would switch up the cards like crazy? And
they turned
I knew all the stuff about the credit cards, so I had so many credit cards, which made that. Dude, I'm telling you, it's all these little pieces that put together that made all that stuff possible. Basically, and I remember being on the FaceTime and being like,
8:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah, I took the buy box, like I buy box banded you. Dang, we'll get to that in a little bit, right there. And then we were just like a squad, like us five basically, the whole time. And so that second month, April, I probably did like 40K in revenue. And mind you, I'm all merchant fulfilled at this time, so I go on vacation in May and then I do like $2,000 in sales, basically, which is, or maybe like 7 or something, which I obviously didn't make as much money, but like I knew it was working. And I remember like running up Kohl's on the drive home from Florida and everything, and then we'll keep going from there. But talk about going down to Miami to get the chlorine as well.
Oh yeah,
this is the loop. This was the biggest loop.
You went down on vacation.
Yep.
Chlorine's popping. Buy it for 75. Jake, some of his sold I think for 500.
Yeah.
And then more people got on it, and it stabilized around 300, 350 for a while, like 2 months.
2 months.
You were down in Florida. You could have got some, but you didn't.
I did. I was scared, dude. Yeah. Yep.
I mean, honestly, rightfully so. With some of the stuff that happened with it. So, dude, chlorine's popping. Flobies kind of died out. I didn't really like selling the Air Forces. So, dude, I was like, I can't get any chlorine in the Northeast. There was only these certain Costco stores in Florida, Texas, and California that had it. Jay kind of had the West Coast. I didn't want to go to Texas.
He had that thing on lock.
And I couldn't. I didn't want to go into his territory.
Yep.
So
that's a good point.
I found these 5 Costcos in Southern Florida, Fort Lauderdale area. Called all of them, figured out, kind of pieced information together, figured out when the main shipment from the Costco distribution center was estimated.
And mind
to come
you,
in.
this is very difficult to do when you're talking to a minimum wage employee on the phone. Like this is damn near impossible.
Shout out the people at Costco. They were helpful. The people that knew how to look at the shipments were helpful because it would go from the manufacturer to a distribution center, then to the stores. So they told me when it was estimated to get to the distribution center, which is like a week from now. So I took my girlfriend at the time, flew down. I was like, hey, we're going to Fort Lauderdale. We may have work to do while we're there.
Rented a Tesla.
Got there, waited like 3 or 4 days because they were like, oh, well, the shipment didn't come in yet. It's late. It hasn't come in yet. And then one day, called them, shipment's in. Items are going to be in stock tomorrow. Called my friend, Chris Caceres. Matt's twin brother, my roommate.
Okay.
I was like, yo, I'll give you $1,000. You need to fly down here tonight. Booked him a flight, flew down. Shout out, Chris. Next morning, had 2 U-Hauls. I had one, Chris had one. Split up the Costco's, went around, cleaned up. Next morning, same thing, cleaned up. Got like 300.
Yep. And then
300
we were talking
Costco.
about it yesterday. Fly Home United refreshing the Wi-Fi, seeing all the sales come through.
I palletized them all up. It was like 6 pallets. Ship them off to Jersey. That cost like $2,500. Well worth it, by the way. Shipped them off. Listed them all online. They all sold before I landed in New Jersey.
The bolos are crazy. And like, let's think about that. So how much profit total did you make?
It was like 35 grand.
Oh, it was that much?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So it was fucking way more than I thought.
It honestly may have been more.
Yeah, that is way more than I thought. I was going to say, dude, okay, you made like 5 grand, but like that hustle is what made everything else possible. Like that resourcefulness. I did not think
it actually may have been
much.
like 55.
So that is,
I remember it was 297 buckets of chlorine, and instead of paying my girlfriend, I gave a bucket of chlorine to her parents.
That's hilarious.
So it was 296.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it was like 55 grand. It was a lot.
Yeah. So what was crazy was I thought you made way less. Like to this day, I really thought you didn't.
No, it was 290. I guess 96.
That's amazing. Chlorine. Okay, cool. So
like
yeah,
positive.
And then figure you make like 75 a piece, something like you made a bag. Obviously, that's amazing. I did not know it was that much. One, that's like super life changing when you just dropped out of college too.
Yeah,
because we thought you were quitting Amazon. Because remember, you were so busy with school with finals at Rutgers.
Well, dude, because I was taking like an online class.
Because you had to. Yeah.
My parents made me.
Yeah, and we thought you were quitting, and then you just come out of nowhere and go crazy on a basically. And that was when everything clicks. In that like June 21, I did like 50K in sales, 8K profit. July of 2021, 60K in sales, like 10K profit, and I went on vacation like half the month. And like that was when everything clicked, right? And so it all comes together. Like I knew about the credit stuff. I know you guys, right? We had the right team and we had the right vehicle to go after with, and like this could really make some money, right? So now I'm like, okay, like we got this thing figured out, and this is fun. So Avery and Taylor announced they're hosting the Miami conference. I'm down there anyway to see family. I'm like, I'm going. Like it happens every year. The dominoes slowly fall. Like one person books, then another person books, then another person books, and like. Soon, like everyone we know is going to that basically because Warner and I had just started our Discord too because Warner was another one of the guys where like I'm on YouTube, I see one of his videos like dude, like this dude's awesome, like he's got his name out there, he's making good videos. I DM him, it's like, oh wow, he already follows me, right? Because I had my personal brand and still do, obviously. And so we start talking too. It's the same exact thing. We're sharing stuff. There's tons of guys, Carter, all these different guys. We're just all in these different little pockets of the country, all building together, basically, because it's a hell of a lot easier to do it with others than it is by yourself, basically. So we all go to the Miami conference. Mind you, I'm still all FBM at this time. So I'm making no sales on Amazon. But we have this Discord that's growing. Like, I'm starting to really see how the personal brand can come together and everything. And then that was really fun. We were actually just driving past the hotel that we stayed at, me, you, and Garrett,
on the way here, we
right there. And so we rode up to where Steve and Avery lived, and I was like, dude, like that's where those guys used to live. And you're like, I'm moving in there. And then 3 weeks later, you moved in, basically.
Yeah, signed the lease.
Yep.
Got out. Signed
Boom.
the lease. Yeah.
There we go. Right. And so that was when it, like, pretty much I'd say since then was when I like consider myself moderately sophisticated, like making money. Like, I've made 10 grand a month profit, 15 grand a month profit since then for like 2 years.
Well, because all the levers were in place, the systems were in place, the knowledge was there. So
it all came together.
Relatively years of hard work and years of accumulating knowledge came together, and then all it was okay, put money here.
Like, talk to your boys about this. Yeah, it was like 3 years of consistently posting, which like basically no one does. Because like if you're going to do that, something ends up hitting big. Right, period. We see all these guys that we followed for years. Like, there's a ton of people that aren't around anymore. Most of them aren't doing good. The people that have stuck around, they stuck around long enough to figure it out, right? For something to really click, right? And then, so yeah, that's when it gets into like the modern era. I assume we start doing buy box bandits, which you're not familiar with. We have 120 episodes of, basically. I start doing FBA. Back to school in 2021 was crazy. That was like the coming out party, I would say, for like myself on Amazon, because you were already doing 100 a month because you had all that wholesale stuff. And I remember you did like 300 a month, and I was like, oh man, I'll be good with like 10, 20K a month. Don't worry about it. And then I saw you do, I was like, fuck that, basically. And then I ended up putting like a 50 ball up profit wise in December 2021, which was huge. And it was just like, dude, the same like replenishable inventory, basically. And then, yeah, once we get into like 2022, it's been very similar ever since. And that like the first hour, whatever we've talked about, it's like these little transition periods. This led to that. This led to that. But then it's interesting because this type of growth took a lot longer. But then the like
it's
income wise, income wise, going a lot up a lot more was a shorter amount of time. But like all that initial work compounded enough to hit that. Yeah. Basically, right there. And then this also starts to get into where a lot more of it's documented, basically. And like since then, it's pretty much like personal brand. We start doing seller amp stuff as well, buy box bandits, double down on content, because the key now is that Amazon takes a lot less work than it used to, because everything's compounded towards it at this point, and that now finding a profitable product is an effortless thing, right? We've been in the game so long that we got Jimmy FaceTiming us twice a day trying to get this lead, you know what I mean? Like, opportunities everywhere now.
Dude, honestly, a lot of this comes back to having not just like a community, but just like some friends, people close to you that are also doing it.
That's what I say people optimize for, is you got to find 1 to 3 people that you're going to talk to about everything.
And honestly, if you are in like small town USA, or you have no friends or anyone who's interested in it,
you probably don't.
Join the FBA roadmap for free.
Yeah, or just post even just posting on Instagram. But I'll help, dude. Unlimited people for free.
I could create a new Discord right now. Join FBA roadmap.
Within a second,
I got 5 people I could talk to, and then I could just become a member of that little community. I could be you have to be talking to people to be able to grow.
Because if you don't, and Mr. Beast talked about this, you have to make all the mistakes on your own. Yeah. Meanwhile, say if you and I work together on something, we have to make half the mistakes, and then we're also finding a lot of stuff because we're bouncing ideas off each other. You're hitting me up when you find a deal. I hit you up and I find a deal. Vice versa. It's just completely obvious who wins. Right. And yet so many people still are so afraid of people finding their page or anything like that they don't do it. And then they end up just getting dominated by people like us that just run them over.
Yeah. Like I would have never found out about the chlorine unless it was for
Jake. Yeah. Jake. Yeah. And Taylor. Remember Taylor flew out to LA and then flew back the same day.
And then they were trying to rip it in Fort Lauderdale. I kind of cleaned up most of it, I think.
Fire. Yeah. So basically, I'd say like the personal brand was the big thing, and then reselling is just what vehicle ended up working through it. Basically, and now like December 2021 was that first big month. That was also consequently, whatever, when we started doing SellerAmp stuff as well, which is our software company basically with that. And
is there
then,
a free trial link down below?
Maybe not linked down below, but maybe there will be. Yeah, selleramp.com right there. But you're obviously watching us on my YouTube, so you're probably familiar with that stuff and everything. But yeah, so that was when we learned about SellerAmp. SellerAmp was kind enough to sponsor our Discord, basically. We saw it looked great. It's like, okay, maybe we can partner up and actually become, part owners of this, basically. And we've since done that. My boy Warner and I, obviously, he was huge because he's been a huge part of that engine and growing our Discord. And then we do the course together. Then we were able to do that. And we're just like leveraging one play after another into like big upside things, basically, has been the name of the game. And like, it'll be interesting to see, the next couple of years and everything. But I promise you, I'm going to keep showing up every day and all my boys will too. And that's why we'll continue to win, basically.
Yep. Consistency, being online, put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Like-minded friends.
You just got to become who you don't want to compete with. Think of who you want to compete with as an Amazon seller, right? It's the guy who's watching this right now who never talks to anyone. He's deathly afraid of showing his face because he doesn't want to own that he does Amazon because he's afraid if he fails. He's worrying about if he fails, right? He never talks to anyone, so he makes all the mistakes on his own. He never finds opportunity. Meanwhile, like Jimmy or Billy, for example, from day one, they haven't been afraid to show their face, right? And that's why opportunity always finds them, baby. Yeah. It always finds them because like it flows up to who's out there looking for it. And if your face is out there, you end up finding it because people want to talk to other people, like it finds them.
No, 100%.
It's
and that's
so
a
true.
really good example with like Billy and
it's a same playbook. They weren't afraid to put themselves out there. Yeah.
It's like, and I know a lot of you guys are listening to this and you're like, oh, it's too late. Like, no,
it's not. It's just getting started. You had that nice video about how we're like the pioneers of making money online. It's so true, dude.
Well, what did I say in it?
It was the video with like the Miami skyline, and you were like, it feels cool to be one of the pioneers, like make money online or whatever.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
I mean,
so true.
Like, I'm not. I'm just like, I don't think I'm a pioneer in making money online. But
in 50 years, we will be completely.
To me,
yeah.
So
like,
I guess each people are going to be their own.
Yeah, people are going to be making money online. Like more people are learning about it every day, and we're super early, completely.
100%. I mean, dude, to me, some like my make money online Mount Rushmore. Oh man, Ty Lopez,
of course. Yeah,
obviously
of course.
Ty Lopez. For some reason, Ricky Gutierrez is coming to my mind.
Oh, okay, interesting.
That was like trading.
Stock guy, yeah.
Oh no, penny stocks. I can't remember his name, but there's a huge penny stock guy on Twitter. I mean, he's been around forever. Like
Gary V is my guy. Like the guy I've looked at the most since
Gary
the beginning.
V.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone else right
now.
Well,
either way, like there's the nice thing is there's like tons of people to go out there and learn. Luckily, people who are watching this are spending time with us. There's a lot of people else out there, and it's all free. So you guys better take advantage of it and delete Snapchat, basically, and you'll make a lot more money basically with that. But yeah, just start. You got to start owning stuff. Like if you want to sell on Amazon, you got to completely own it. You got to not be afraid of stuff. So many of you guys are afraid to put yourselves out there, and that's why it's not working because you're afraid of it. You're afraid of owning. Being an entrepreneur, you're afraid of people finding out that you're trying this thing that they don't think that works. Meanwhile, they go clock in for 40 years. And you might end up having to do that too if you don't do the right actions. Luckily, it's all out there for you.
Someone's got to do the accounting.
Yeah, which I don't want to like shit on 9-to-5s at all. But the key is the people we talk to aren't interested in that. And so that's why certain things get worded the way they do and everything,
Should I pull up the tweet and see?
Yes,
rapid fire,
good call. Yes.
Questions?
Yeah, we got some questions from the timeline.
Live
as well.
questions from the TL.
Anyone who did that, yeah.
All right, we got a 20+ notification badge.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
all right. Let's see what they got for us. Yeah.
All right, hold on. Wi-Fi Maid said some bad mamacitas have been there. Okay. Okay. Oh wait, that's not the right tweet. All right, hold on. Miles, you may need to. All right. This is you probably
don't read the names. Yeah.
Okay. What does he think he would be doing if it was not Amazon or anything marketing related?
Ooh, that's tough, dude, because marketing's in everything. You know what I mean? So that's so tough because the way I see it is like whatever business I'm doing, I'd be talking about it online to like get customers or meet people or stuff like that. But I can't even imagine it without that because it's such like a part of like its own, dude, it's 4.5 years.
Yeah.
I've showed my face every day, and that's like technically marketing, even though I consider it like documenting the whole time. Now, obviously, we're selling stuff, SellerAmp, etc. I honestly can't, like, I have no idea. Like, I know too much to not do it, basically. Like, I just know it's an important component.
Right. How have you been able to maintain consistent and continual international sex symbol status with multiple businesses?
All right, well, next.
That was from Retirement Keys. That actually might be it. We got a lot of views on the tweet, but
Oh, really? No one else asked a question?
No.
Oh, interesting. You got a lot of notifications, though.
Yeah.
Cool.
B Flip said, "Where's the setup?" All at Amazon said a studio in Miami.
Yes.
He then followed up and asked if he was there.
Cool. All right. Well,
about it
yeah.
on TL.
So that was good. I figured
Yeah.
we did like all the modern period, basically, and that like a lot of the modern stuff. It's like I woke up, I bought inventory today. I made a
and
video
the
today.
great thing is, in
promote SellerAmp
another,
today.
obviously now you're living in Miami.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that, but I kind of soft launched that, which was kind of like some kind of soft, to be honest. And I was like not really owning it and everything, but yeah, we got the setup in Miami now. It should be good and everything.
So in 6 months, we could run back another one of these and see what's changed, what's happening from day one Flips4Miles Miami to
yeah,
day
we
180,
bought the
Flips 5
wholesale
miles.
stuff for the first time, with Jimmy. So like that's a change. I guess
Stuff,
not all the way.
there's stuff, there's things in the works.
Yes.
That, again, you have to be talking
In the
to
mix,
people.
yeah, or you can keep hiding and you can keep getting run over by
Dude,
FBA
yeah.
Jimmy and
like,
and B Flips and Garrett. Like it just you just gotta get in the mix. I know you're scared of it, but scared is like you need to change if you want to be able to do this. It's gonna be so much easier. If you got a good squad, you can do it. And I love how there's younger guys I see online talking crazy sometimes, but like I was probably the same way to some people.
And what's cool is like when you're first starting, you're like
You got
looking at
nothing
all
to
these
lose.
people and you're like, man, like they probably
They're
know
so
something.
fucking normal. They know nothing. They've just done it longer than you.
No,
They've owned it more than
I
you.
know that,
Yeah.
but you're like, man, they probably know
It's so
something.
true,
They're
yeah.
probably talking. They probably know the secrets. And then like I don't want to say you become one of those people, but then you kind of see you're like now involved in those conversations. There isn't really anything secret.
No,
But
it just there's certain things that come up, but like those people should get the good opportunity.
Yeah.
The ones that are
'Cause
like,
your
yeah,
network, yeah.
exactly.
So
Yeah, like they should be rewarded.
You gotta put yourself
My
out there.
favorite's the people who are like, I don't want to show my face. All right, just make less money than the people who do. Like you'll know less people. That's fine. Do what you want, but like you're just gonna get worse results. Like
True.
Because like
True.
the reason some certain things I get like not wanting to show yourself online because of 9 to 5 completely makes sense. That's obviously not the scenario that makes sense. Very good reason.
I mean, there's a way to do it. Look at car dealership guy.
Yeah,
He has
anonymous. Yeah,
350,000
true.
followers,
and no one knows who he is. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's
crazy.
ways to do it. Like, dude, if you are gonna put your face out there, tweet a video, tag all the biggest Amazon
And
accounts.
I'm gonna retweet that
Someone's
shit
gonna react.
instantly. Yeah.
So
then you'll gain
I
followers.
see the
and like
we all
people are
see the
saying
notifications.
like I don't know what to post. You know exactly. If you just
Yeah.
looked at what everyone else did, you know exactly
Yeah,
what you
like,
need to
dude,
do.
you fire
Yeah.
off some video tweets for the next 30 days.
Your life is gonna get better. Like,
Yeah.
would you make any less money if you documented your Amazon growth? I guarantee you no. Is there any chance you know less people? No.
Yeah, and
a good
also
idea.
to be what we're calling like in the mix, really just friends with people in
Like
the space.
the bar is so fucking low.
It's $1,000.
Yeah.
It's like $1,000.
Yeah,
Maybe.
and it's like it's having 1,000 people have seen your face. I could get you 500 instantly if you take a video and tag me. I'll
Yeah.
retweet it. You're instantly gonna get like 500.
Same. You make cool video.
Yeah, like the biggest difference is like you go to like the Miami conference, right? The people who are speaking are the people whose faces have been seen by like a couple thousand people, and the people watching are the people who like haven't done that. And it's like who makes more money? It's obvious and everything. And like we harp on this stuff all day because we realize at the end of the day, like anyone can read a Keepa chart, but not anyone can get a FaceTime with Garrett when something restocks, right? So it's important that you attempt to put that infrastructure in place for yourself because it's guaranteed not going to make you less money, basically.
Facts.
Cool.
All right. Well, this was the the Flips4Miles story.
Yep.
We'll run it back in 6 months, and we're gonna talk about the Flips4Miles Miami story.
All right, yeah.
Maybe we'll get into some stuff here.
Cool.
But I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love
what
you,
else?
King. Let's keep it going, boy.
SellerAmp.com.
Yep. Flips4Miles, Buy Box Bandits podcast. Check out Wi-Fi Astronaut on Twitter. And yeah, thanks for spending some time with us. We'll see you guys in the next one.